Joseph and his colorful coat. A story of forgiveness and trusting God. A long time ago, in a quiet place with sunny skies and grassy hills, there lived a boy named Joseph. He had 10 big brothers and 1 little brother, and they all lived with their father Jacob in a land called Canaan. Joseph was different. He smiled easily. He loved to listen. And he dreamed. Oh, how Joseph dreamed. But there was something else too. Joseph was his father's favorite. Jacob loved Joseph more than the others, and everyone knew it. While the older brothers worked out in the fields, Joseph often stayed close to their father. He asked lots of questions and listened carefully to stories about God and their family. Jacob's heart was full of love for Joseph, and one day he showed that love in a very special way. "Joseph," Jacob said, "come here, my son." Joseph ran to him barefoot on the soft earth, his eyes wide with curiosity. Jacob held out something beautiful, a coat, but not just any coat. It shimmered in the sunlight with stripes of red, blue, green, purple, and gold. It was the most wonderful thing Joseph had ever seen. "For me?" Joseph whispered, eyes round like moons. "For you," said Jacob, smiling, "because you are a special gift from God." Joseph wrapped the coat around him and twirled. The fabric swished like wings around his legs. He felt so loved, so proud, so safe. But not everyone felt the same. His brothers stood in the distance watching. Their hands were rough from working. Their clothes were dusty and plain. "Why him?" one of them muttered. "He doesn't work like we do," another said. "That coat should have gone to the oldest," the eldest grumbled. "He thinks he's better than us." Their hearts started to fill with something sharp and ugly, jealousy. But Joseph didn't see their glares. He was busy dreaming again. One morning, Joseph came running to his brothers, his coat catching the wind like a flag. "I had a dream," he called, breathless. "It was amazing. We were tying bundles of grain, and suddenly mine stood tall, and yours all bowed down to mine." The brothers stared at him, eyes narrowing. "Are you saying we'll bow to you?" one snapped. "You think you're a king now?" another growled. But Joseph was too excited to notice. The next night, another dream came. "I saw the sun, the moon, and 11 stars bowing to me," he told his father and brothers. Even Jacob was confused. "What does this mean, Joseph?" Joseph just looked down, quiet now, wondering why no one seemed happy for him. But his brothers had heard enough. They didn't want his dreams. They didn't want his coat. And they didn't want him. One day, Jacob sent Joseph out to the fields to check on his brothers. Joseph walked a long way, the wind brushing his face, his sandals crunching over stones. He looked for his brothers under the trees and across the hills. At last, he saw them. He waved, smiling, but they didn't smile back. "There he is," one brother said, low and bitter. "Wearing that coat," another sneered. "This is our chance," a third whispered. Joseph came closer, heart full of peace, not knowing the storm waiting for him. Suddenly, strong hands grabbed him. His coat was torn from his body. "What are you doing?" Joseph cried, scared. But they didn't answer. They threw him into a deep, dark pit. It was cold and empty. The walls were too steep to climb. Joseph sat on the hard ground, shaking. Tears rolled down his cheeks. "Brothers," he called up, "please, why are you doing this?" No one answered. Soon travelers passed by, strangers with camels and heavy packs. One brother had an idea. "Let's sell him. He'll be gone forever." And they did. The strangers tied Joseph with rope and led him away. He looked back, searching for just one kind face. But there were none. Joseph was taken far away to a strange land called Egypt. The sun there was hotter. The people spoke different words, and everything felt too big. Joseph worked as a servant in a big house. He scrubbed floors, fed animals, and carried heavy jars of water. He missed his father. He missed home. He missed being loved. But Joseph remembered something very important. He remembered God. Even when it hurt, even when he was alone, Joseph whispered, "God, I still trust you. Please stay with me." And God did. God helped Joseph work hard, and the man who owned the house, Potiphar, noticed. "Joseph," he said, "you are honest and wise. I will put you in charge of everything I have." But one day, something terrible happened. Joseph was blamed for something he didn't do. He was thrown into prison. Cold stone walls, hard floors, dark nights. Joseph cried. "But God," he whispered, "I still trust you." And again, God stayed close. Even in jail, Joseph helped others. He cared for the other prisoners. He listened to their dreams. With God's help, he explained what those dreams meant. And he was right. Everything he said came true. Years later, the king of Egypt, Pharaoh, had a strange dream. No one could understand it, but someone remembered Joseph. Joseph stood before Pharaoh, clean and quiet. "I can't explain your dream," he said softly, "but God can." And with God's help, he did. "You will have 7 good years," Joseph said, "and then 7 years without food. You must save now to be ready later." Pharaoh was amazed. "Joseph, I will make you ruler over all Egypt." Just like that, Joseph became powerful. He wore royal robes now, not a colorful coat, and he saved food so people would not go hungry. Then one day, many years later, some travelers came to Egypt, asking for food. Joseph looked up and his heart jumped. It was them, his brothers. They didn't recognize him. How could they? He was older now, stronger, dressed like a king. Joseph stared at them. Memories rushed back. The pit, the rope, the tears. He could have sent them away. He could have punished them. But something warm filled Joseph's heart. Love, forgiveness. Tears filled his eyes. "I am Joseph," he said, his voice soft but trembling. "Your brother." The brothers were silent. They couldn't believe it. "We are so sorry," they said. "We were wrong." Joseph took a deep breath. Then he smiled. "Don't be afraid," he said. "You meant to hurt me, but God used it for good. He sent me here to save lives. I forgive you." The brothers cried and hugged Joseph, and Joseph wept too, not because he was sad, but because God had turned his pain into something beautiful. What can we learn? Joseph's story teaches us that God never leaves us, even when life feels scary or unfair. It teaches us to trust God's plan, even when we don't understand it. And it shows us the power of forgiveness. Joseph forgave his brothers. He chose love instead of anger. And that made everything better. Dear God, thank you for loving me. Even when things are hard, help me to trust you, just like Joseph did. When someone hurts me, help me forgive them. I know you have a good plan for my life. Thank you for staying with me, always. Amen. Thank you so much for listening to the story of Joseph and his colorful coat. Wasn't it amazing how Joseph forgave his brothers and trusted God, even when things went wrong? If you like this story, we'd love it if you told a friend about it. Please like this video and subscribe to our channel so you don't miss more beautiful Bible stories. And when you share it with others, you're helping more children hear about God's love. We're so glad you're here. See you next time.